Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodesh, double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen but are not by way of their forefathers' seeds who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as were the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Akalia, and I'm from the GMS Jamaica Kingston camp. And this video is a prophecy update. A prophecy update regarding the prophecy of World War III and also the prophecy of Turkey joining sides with Russia. All right, that's a part of biblical prophecy. Because right now, we know today that Turkey is a part of NATO, right? And in Revelation chapter 17, it talks about the whore, which is America, right? That rides the beast, which is NATO, and it talks about the 10 horns, which is the European Union, all right? And they are allied together, okay? Those are Edomite, and the Edomites are the so-called white people. These are Edomite-led countries, all right, that are all aligned together, as they should be, because it is the kingdom of the Edomites, so the Edomites should be aligned, right? But then in this kingdom, there's no harmony among the Edomites, because you have the Edomites on one end over there, right? America, NATO, the European Union, and the Israelis against another set of Edomites who are the Russians. But then those Edomites have enlisted the strength of the heathen nations, right? Because Russia is allied with the so-called African nations. They're allied with Iran. They're allied with China, all right? Russia has many allies. You can actually just look at those that are part of BRICS, BRICS, and you can see who Russia's allies are, all right, when taking a look at what's going on in the world. But when it comes to biblical prophecy, there are certain things that are specifically mentioned, all right? Now, the article from Reuters says, Turkey blocks NATO-Israel cooperation over Gaza war, sources say, okay? So let's get into why this article is relevant. It says, Ankara, August 1st, Reuters. Turkey has blocked cooperation between NATO and Israel, the state of Israel, the Israelis, since October because of the war in Gaza, and said the alliance should not engage with Israel as a partner until there is an end to the conflict, sources familiar with the process said. The Israelis carries the status of NATO partner and has fostered close relationships with the military alliance and some of its members, notably its biggest ally, the United States. Yeah, of course, right? Now, NATO carries the status of NATO partner, but they are not officially a part of NATO, all right? Okay, so when we break down that Revelation 17 with that beast and NATO and the 10 horns of the European Union, the state of Israel isn't included in that, but they are in fact a NATO partner, as it has been said here. All right, so NATO will go to the defense of the Israelis, and of course America, as it says, is its biggest ally. And we do know about the precept, the scripture that talks about the least of the flock, right? The least of the flock is referring to the Israelis, and it says the least of the flock shall draw them out. Ye shall make their habitation desolate with them, to paraphrase. So what's going to happen is that the Israelis are going to be doing things that are going to force America to go to war. And when you look at what's going on in the world today regarding them and the tensions that are going on over there in the so-called Middle East, they are constantly doing things to irritate the opposition. All right, this adds to biblical prophecy, because eventually it's going to reach a breaking point where America has to intervene, right? Prior to Israel's offensive in Gaza prompted by Palestinian militant group Hamas October 7th, rampage NATO member Turkey had been working to mend its long-strained ties with Israel. Since then, Ankara has been fiercely critical of Israel's operation in Gaza, which it says amounts to a genocide, and has halted all bilateral trade. It has slammed many Western allies for their support of Israel. So they have spoken against their allies, right? Which includes their NATO allies. Speaking on condition of anonymity, the sources said Turkey had vetoed all NATO engagement with Israel since October, including joint meetings and exercises viewing Israel's massacre of Palestinians in Gaza as a violation of NATO's founding principles. Okay. A UN inquiry in June found that both Israel and Hamas had committed war crimes, etc. The sources said Turkey would maintain this bloc and not allow Israel to continue or advance its interaction with NATO until there was an end to the conflict, as it believes Israel's actions in Gaza violate international law and universal human rights. So Turkey is against what the state of Israel is doing, which really makes them low-key an enemy to them, right? If you don't side with them, then you're against them. You know, if you don't side with us, then you're against us type of thing, all right? And since they're part of NATO, they are supposed to be working with them. But this is Bible prophecy at time. Let me get the Bible prophecy that I'm speaking about before I go any further into the article. In Ezekiel chapter 38, right? Let's just break this down real quick. We'll start at verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And that's talking about the Russians, okay, as they dwell in that land today. They are not the original Gog and Magog. It's because they dwell in the land where Gog and Magog once dwelt. All right, that's why it is being referred to them as that. And thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Okay, and when you take a look at the biblical map, you will see clearly why it is as such. And I'll turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I'll bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor. So Russia is going to be going to war, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So a great company includes Russia's allies, Persia, who is Iran, who are the biblical Elamites. Okay, so Persia is Iran, Ethiopia and Libya, those are the so-called African nations, those are Hamites. With them, all of them in shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. And this is the same thing right here. All right, so Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah. This is talking about Turkey. And it's the same thing as I mentioned before. If you go and you look at the biblical map, and you see where Gomer and Togarmah were there, you'll see that Turkey is situated in the location of it. All right, so I just went to Google this to show y'all. And so here it is. You can see this is, the map. This is from Bible.com. Okay, so as you can see, Gomer and Togarmah is right there. That's Turkey right there. All right. And you see over there, Magog over there. Over there is Russia, right? And then Persia, where you see Persia right there, that's Iran. Ethiopia right there, that is on the continent of Africa. Right, so you can see, even when you look at this, right, from a, I don't know what to call it, like a strategic standpoint of sorts, look at how Russia is there and Russia's allies are all around there, surrounding this area, that area which is the land of contention over there, right? In Joel chapter 2 and verse 20, it talks about it will be in that the land barren and desolate, which is Saudi Arabia. Right, Saudi Arabia is that land that is talking about in Joel chapter 2 and verse 20, that's barren and desolate, right? That is the area of contention. Israel is right there. All of their enemies are surrounding them. You can kind of envision, how World War III is, because all of these enemies to the state of Israel are surrounding it and can easily collapse, right? You can, see how, obviously, they will lose, as the scriptures do let us know that they will lose. Okay, so back to this. Turkey is going to be joining Russia and her allies, all right? Which means that things are supposed to happen that will deteriorate the relationship between Turkey and NATO and America. and her current allies. And this is exactly what you're seeing manifesting in front of you. After a NATO summit in Washington in July, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said it was not possible for NATO to continue its partnership with the Israeli administration. Earlier this week, Israel's foreign minister urged the alliance to expel Turkey after Erdogan appeared to enter Israel as it had Libya and Nagorno-Karabakh in the past. You see, all of these names, all of these players that are in play, you know, it's a prophecy, man. It's a prophecy speaking very loudly and very clearly regarding this prophecy in Ezekiel 38. And this prophecy is very serious. All right, this prophecy hasn't come to pass as yet, actually, because this is a part of the World War III. Okay? Like, this Ezekiel 38 and 6 hasn't happened. It hasn't manifested as yet. We're still waiting for it to fully happen. But what we're seeing is the build up towards it, you know? And it just goes to show you that, like, very clearly every day that we have the truth. You know, it really does. Literally, Bible prophecy is manifesting. Anyway, eventually all of Americas will turn against her and destroy her. So Turkey is just the beginning of it. Things will happen during World War III. I don't know what will happen, but things will transpire that America's own allies will turn against her. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So they're going to turn against her and destroy America. All right. And another thing is, you know, earlier I mentioned, you know, the Edomites are so, there's no harmony within their kingdom. And you know what the scriptures say about that? It says that if Satan be casted, if he's divided, to paraphrase, then he cannot stand, but he hath an end. And, you know, this Edomite kingdom most certainly does have an end, as it is a wicked and vile kingdom. All right, but that's just what it is. It's a very quick update regarding Turkey. I just saw it on routers, and I was like, yo, let me hit it. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai, Bashim Kakodesh. Shalom.